Hi everyone, Diana Rankin here on an absolutely glorious day here in the Midwest. This is coming to you for your weekly psychic soul messages and predictions. It is the 26th week of the year, 2019, and this is for the week of June 23rd to the 29th. I'm going to take these off because I know there's a glare there. Okay, sorry. So used to wearing them, I forget I'm wearing them. Anyway, happy solstice. Summer has now officially started, and it feels like it today. We've had a lot of rain here. I have a lot of flooding out here and haven't really been able to do a whole lot because of the flooding, but nothing like some people are experiencing. So I hope wherever you are, you're safe and dry. And if it's too dry, I hope you have some rain. We just need to see the climate change a bit, or be aware of the climate changes. As one of you pointed out, it's a climate emergency that we're going through. And we are going to see our weather be rather erratic, and that's not going to change. But we do have some, in the Midwest, we are going to see a little bit of change this week. We're still going to see a lot of rain, but I think we're going to see some more sunshine. And now that summer started, I think we'll see some summer. So enough of that. Thank you all for coming back. We are going to get a message from Philip, who is my spirit guide. And this is an oracle book, so every page has a different, I write down the dates, and I had it taped up there and it just flew away. I don't know if that went through the screen or not, but you probably saw me react. Anyway, it's just a piece of paper that we'll get in a minute. But this book, I started to say Daisy's book, it's Philip's book. Daisy's right here with me. You'll probably see her walking around the yard shortly. And she likes being outside as long as I'm here with her. And the weather's nice, but the yard's still pretty mushy. Anyway, this book has a different wisdom on each page. So we'll get our wisdom from Philip later. And also I have chosen one of the processes from one of my other books, Joy, which has 52 processes, one each week, that we can use to make our lives a little bit happier. But this week, I'm going to do two things. I want to talk to you just a little bit, and then I want to read my dialogue with Philip, who's my spirit guide. And I'll read that in a few minutes. But I want to talk to you about, I had really two, more than two, but two specifically, really interesting readings this week. And, you know, I think of myself as being a very practical psychic, really as using the psychic abilities to coach. And you want to make your relationship better. Here are some ways you need to do that. Here's what you need to look at. You want your health to be better. Here are some things that, let's check the body, see what the health is going to be. You want the work situation to be better. Here's what you have to do. And so I think of myself as being a very practical psychic. Now, excuse me, that said, I always thought if somebody, you know, I was Cleopatra in another incarnation, and I thought, yeah, okay. But this week, I had the honor of, through clients, being able to connect with two different very high spiritual beings. And it tells me, excuse me, it tells me a lot of what is happening in our world today. Both of these beings coming, I don't want to get into specifics because I believe what happens in a session with a client is private, but I know I'm able to share what I'm about to share with you. One client was in one part of the, or excuse me, one of the beings was in one part of the world, and one was in a totally different part of the world. Both are very ancient parts of our world. And what I was shown is the one client comes from, is royalty from the gods and part of that lineage. And the other client over here, not the client, but the being I'm reading through the client. And the other told me that he was part of those beings who came in to create human life on this plane, on the earth plane. And one of the things he said that I want to share with you is he said that there were no genders, that evolved later. But when human life first began, we thought of ourselves as both men and women. We didn't even really think about it. It just, we were both genders. So it wasn't a thing to think about. From that, this morning when I was doing some things around the house, I turned on the TV and there was a segment on the Today Show that was talking about so many young people now are expressing themselves as non-gender or as multi-gender or both genders. And I found that just clicked into place, the synchronicity of all. I'm sorry I didn't get to really pay a whole lot of attention to what was going on. I was being distracted by a few four-legged ones at the time. But it just kind of came together for me. And I thought, you know, this is what we're doing. We are evolving into this whole new, I don't want to say species because we're still human, but we're evolving into this new phase of the human life. And in a way, we're coming back to our roots while moving ahead. That said, I want to read you my conversation with Philip this morning. I asked him, including personal questions, and so part of this pertains to all of us, but it does start out personal. You are being given information to help you better understand the human evolution, the experience of the experiment, shall we say. And then I ask, the experiment? What experiment? Which Philip answers, that which you call God. And then I say, or question, beings from another planet? And Philip answers, in part, yes, think larger. And I answer, consciousness itself, and Philip says, yes. I ask, are we evolving into a new species or destroying ourselves and recreating? Now, I ask that because, you know, we're a little too close to World War III. And I've asked you before, let's continue to see our world, our planet in love and light. Let's keep surrounding it with love and light. Let's send love and light to our world leaders, regardless of what our human minds think of them. So, what I said to Philip then, I asked, are we evolving into a new species or destroying ourselves and recreating? And Philip answered, the two can be one. And I said, destroy to evolve? Philip answered, somewhat, yes. Philip went on to say, it is not necessary to destroy to evolve. However, evolution will take place. If a species cannot evolve, it will not adapt to changes. Thus, to evolve, it must first, in part, be destroyed, so that which is capable can evolve. We must give up all or part of the old belief system or life to move into the new, is what I said. And then Philip said, precisely. And the human species, as well as the planet, is in an evolutionary phase, I said. Philip said, this is a correct interpretation. There is adaptation taking place. I questioned, are we returning to the Garden of Eden? Philip said, returning, with a question mark. No, it is neither forward nor backward, for that indicates a future or past. This would be an incorrect interpretation. If you must have a timetable, think of moving forward to what is a Garden of Eden. This does not mean human life would be benefit. This does not mean human life would be without conflict. And I said, that's an important statement worth repeating. And Philip said, this does not mean a life without conflict, but it is in how the conflict is dealt with. This then is the heaven or hell. Ah, I believe I get it, I said. When I disagree with someone, I can get upset or find a loving way to get along. We each produce the heaven or hell by our attitude toward the other. Philip answers, "This is the beginning." Yes. I question, "The beginning?" "Why, yes," Philip says. "You must begin somewhere." Then I say, "Okay, what follows our attitude?" And Philip says, "Much more actually, but we will reveal only the next step at this time, and that is action." I say, "I think I see where this is going. At least these two steps, attitude and actions, that are loving, create a loving world that begins with each individual." Philip answers, "Yes." "Is this not what you have been saying to yourself and others?" I answer, "Yes, but it feels differently now somehow." And Philip says, "Ah, yes, of course." "Okay, wise one, why is that?" "It is your own evolution you are experiencing. You are bringing more people into my life," I say, "with whom I have differences to help me interact at a higher level." Philip says, or I say, "Okay, Philip, I see you smiling." "Laughter, dear one," Philip says, "is of the highest forms of love if the laughter comes from the heart." I say, if we look at our different perspectives lightheartedly, we can find common ground. Philip says, "Yes." And then I say, a soulmate who is of a different perspective from who I will, a soulmate who is of a different perspective and from whom I will learn and grow because we laugh about our differences. And Philip says, "Yes." And he explains that it is that spiritual or that human chemistry that we call, as we call it. You would not come together. Without laughter, you would not stay together and teach each other, I say. And he answers, "And teach others." So those of us, those soulmates that we have that chemistry with, why do we have that? Because we are to learn from each other and help us grow. Laughter is what's going to help us do that. Philip goes on to say, spiritually, we are of one mind. Human interpretations of events are different. I'm sorry, that's what I said, and Philip agrees, yes, this is so. And then I say, is this why there is so much conflict in our world today? So we can learn this? And Philip says, in part, yes. It is also what you have seen before. It is what was resisting what is evolving. And I said, I see the world evolve as I evolve. Philip answers, yes. And I say, I see the world only through my perspective. So often I've said this, and yet today it feels different. That's because I've grown a bit, so this becomes a knowing at a deeper level. I see you smiling, Philip. And I wanted to share that with you because I think it's important that we know we are evolving. Our world is evolving. I am getting so many signs of that, even though it feels in many ways like we've gone backwards. We're evolving. Yes, there is resistance against that, and yes, we will have conflict. But how are we going to deal with that conflict? My friends, let's do it with love and laughter. Let's enjoy our lives and help others do the same. Here's another way to enjoy your life. This is number week 23, and it's called Purposeful Daydreaming. Happiness, joy doesn't just happen in our lives. We have to choose it, and we have to choose it again and again and again. So what I suggest in this particular process, what I suggest here is I give you, I think, 21 different ways, just 10 minutes a day to sit down and daydream. You know, we can't always take that big vacation. We can't always get away from our lives, but we can energetically. So just a couple of the things that give me joy, I share with you. I will just sit and watch clouds move through the sky, and that can give me joy. I love the sky, and the clouds fascinate me, whether I'm driving or just sitting still. So, whether in my imagination or just sitting outside on a day like today and looking up and seeing the beauty around me and above me, that gives me joy. Walking through woods gives me joy. Good, stimulating conversation with friends. Skimming over the ocean waves in a sailboat. These all give me joy. Feeling the sun on my face gives me joy. Dancing in a warm rain. Walking barefooted in water. These all give me joy. 10 minutes a day, whether it's just imagining it and daydreaming or actually doing it, go ahead. It will give you joy. As you know, I thank you for your comments. I am so grateful for them, and I do get to them just as soon as I can. I get so many emails every day in addition, so I, I'm always a little bit behind trying to catch up with myself. But let's see what Philip has to say this week, shall we? I say we just flip through and we think left page or right page, so get that in your mind, left page or right page, and as we flip through, I don't know, that one doesn't feel quite right. So let's do that one. Um, of course. By the way, this is the right page. Creation did not stop 2,000 years ago. It is alive and well and active within you. Creation did not stop 2,000 years ago. It is alive and well and active within you. My friends, we are creating every day. We are coming together with those soulmates that we need to come together with in order to help our lives grow and evolve. On the left page, it says, success may begin with a dream, but it takes hard work and perseverance to turn the dream into reality. Success may begin with a dream, but it takes hard work and perseverance to turn the dream into reality. Turn your dreams into reality, and let's turn the dream of a happy world filled with love, filled with laughter, filled with who we truly are, letting our spirit self move through our human self. Find the laughter between you and the other person. You may find you have more in common than you realize. Thank you for being with me today, my friends. I am so grateful you're here. I love you, and I accept all that love you send to me. I'm so grateful for it. And Daisy just walked past, so I don't know if you'll see her or not. She's not doing a whole lot out in the yard as far as running and playing because it's still pretty soggy. So I hope it's dry where you are, but not too dry. Anyway, enough. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for loving us. And thank you for accepting the love that I'm sending to you today.